What is going on, everyone? My name is Jared Haas, and welcome to the Best to the Track. This weekend, we're at the Dover Motor Speedway, and joining us this weekend is none other than our editor-in-chief and owner of Frontstretch.com, Tom Bowles. Tom, it's a pleasure to have you here on the Best to the Track again. You were here at Daytona at the season opener. I got to start with the playoff bubble, too, and I want to show this graphic here, too, of the drivers that are in the playoff bubble. Last season, it was Tyler Reddick who got in and Austin Dillon that was out. Ironically, Reddick was 11th in points and Dillon missed the cutoff by 13th. The drivers that you see in yellow are in the playoffs currently. My question to you is, where is the cutoff going to be for these drivers? Like I said, we got Denny Hamlin that's still below there. You got Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric, who's already won, who weren't on the previous graphic. They could shuffle around. Where do you see in points you have to get in? Like I said, you're going to get in the playoffs by points.
So whenever you talk about the playoff bubble, Jared, I always think we talk about the number of winners, right? Because that determines it. We've always been looking every single year since this format was changed in 2014. Are we going to have more than 16 winners? And for the first time, I think we're going to be really, really close. I know Ross Chastain kind of stole one at Talladega, and we could have had, 9 winners in 10 races? But there are still a lot of really good guys, when you think about it, that have not won yet. Chase Elliott, the point leader, hasn't won. Joey Logano hasn't won. Ryan Blaney's led at either the most laps or second most laps this year. He hasn't won. So you look up and down the list, I think we could actually make it all the way up to where we have 15 or 16 winners this year. I don't think any winner is going to be knocked out, but I could see a situation. I don't see Chase Elliott not winning a race, Jared, but I think the bubble is going to be so tight this year. We could actually have a situation we were worried about last year. Remember with Denny Hamlin being the point leader and people thought, oh, he might need to get in on points because we'll end up with 16 winners. I think we may end up with 15. And if Chase Elliott's the winless point leader, he'll be the 16th. I think somebody all the way up to the level of an Elliott or Logano is going to be the cutoff. So for these guys like, Christopher Bell on the bubble, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, all those guys that you always talk about, 10th through 20th, I think it's going to be a different trajectory for them as they get into the summer. Because I think, A, they can win based on the next-gen car and the parity, and B, I think they're going to have to win in order to make the playoffs. I really do.
I mean, we saw it last year. Like I said, we had, I think it was 14 different winners that made the playoffs. 13 or 14. We had a pretty full field of winners last year, and I mean, Reddick was almost in the top 10, and he had to, like I said, that's where the cutoff is too. And I want to pivot to Reddick. Last weekend at Talladega, he had an engine failure, finished dead last, and as you saw in the graphic, he is right now outside the playoffs. And we have a lot of, I don't want to say pressure on him, but he's looking for his first win. It's not if, it's when. And he's had a lot of performances. Like I said, good performances. That's kind of got astray. I think back at Fontana, the Bristol Dirt Race. An interesting nugget, though. If you look at the laps leaders' totals, the top 3 in points, like I said, Elliott's included in that tier, are in the top 3 of lap-led leaders. 4th place is Tyler Reddick, all the way down in 15th in points, which is kind of pretty much sums Tyler Reddick's season so far. Do you think Tyler Reddick needs to get a win to get in the playoffs? Do you think he can survive like last year? Or is it more of a statement that he needs to get in? What are your thoughts on Tyler Reddick?
I do. I think Tyler Reddick needs to get a win. I think Tyler Reddick needs to somehow make it to, you look right in front of me here, victory lane at Dover. I don't know if Dover is going to be the one, but I definitely think it's going to be a win or not make it in for Reddick. And I think he does have the speed. Look, we've seen him come so close in the Bristol Dirt Race. He had the best car at Fontana, and then he had an unfortunate incident there. Richard Childress Racing and all their RCR-aligned cars are a step ahead of the next gen right now. I would even argue they're a step ahead of some of the major teams like Stewart Haas Racing and Team Penske in terms of where they are with next gen development. So, these are the types of races. Dover is the type of race where, I'm going to go boring with my pick to win. We'll talk about that in a second. But Chris Buescher is on the pole, first career pole in Cup. And there's a weird type of vibe here where I think the underdogs could do well. People are not really focused on Dover among the major teams because it's not a playoff track. And we don't really see a track like this in the final 10 races. So it's an opportunity for a guy like Reddick, who did have a top 10 finish here the last time out, or, one guy in the middle of the pack there to come out and have a surprise performance here at Dover.
Yeah, like I said, Reddick, this could be another opportunity race too for him to win. Like I said, we'll see with the practice sessions qualifying. Chris Buescher was quite a surprise too. And like I said, you mentioned it. We're gonna get into our picks to win. And like I said, we asked you on YouTube. We had over 400. We had 446 of you guys vote, and we picked the top 4 finishers. Coincidentally, it was of Hendrick Motorsports. I didn't plan that out. It was Hendrick Motorsports that won last year. 37% of you, like I said, voted for somebody else, not than Hendrick Motorsports. A lot of people picked Kyle Busch. Some people picked Martin Truex. But of the 4 Hendrick cars, Kyle Larson got 24% of the vote. And I'm going to hear your picks first, Tom. Let me show the standings real quick. Last weekend, I picked Joey Logano. Got crashed out on a restart. Ryan Blaney finished 11th. Daniel McFadden's pick. So you guys are closing in. Who are you picking to win here at Dover?
So I do think this could be a race that an underdog prevails, but honestly, I'm going to be boring today. This was the race last year that Hendrick had the first 1, 2, 3, 4 finish in team history, and the race that sparked 6 straight wins by the organization and got them back to the top of the Cup heap in terms of the most dominant organization. I am going to go with Larson today. He's kind of had a topsy-turvy start to 2022, a roller coaster up and down. Some stuff out of his control has led to either DNFs or finishes near the back of the pack, but he's also already won. And I think this is a race that he could easily come back to the front. He dominated last year, only to lose on the final pit stop in a track position race to Alex Bowman. I think the 5 car gets to the front and it gets it done at the Monster Mile.
Like I said, you're not wrong with a pick there, too. Larson has been pretty dominant here, even before Hendrick days when he was with Chip Ganassi Racing. I'm going to go with his teammate Chase Elliott. Like I said, Chevys feel like they have something going here. This is kind of more the manufacturer that's been dominant this season. So I think Chase Elliott's going to perform well, but I'm going to give you an underdog. I'm actually going to give you Cole Custer. He's actually scored 2 top 10 finishes here, and an 11th place finish is his worst place finish. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cole Custer gets a top 10. So as Davey would said, put some money on Cole Custer getting a top 10. Tom, it was a pleasure to have you on here. And from everyone here on Frontstretch.com, make sure to subscribe, like our content, and have a great race weekend.